Hi, I hope that you all are all healthy and safe and enjoying a little time away from school. If you're anything like me, you're starting to get a little bored, but don't worry. Next week you're going to have plenty of schoolwork to keep you busy. So I wanted to do a screencast of how to use Galileo. So we were going to do this, in class face to face, because some people, this may be your first semester in school or your first year. You may not have had to do much research and may not be familiar with Galileo and how it works. So this would be a chance to become familiar with that and be able to use it as you write your research paper. So we're going to start on the home page of the class website, which is the announcements page. From there, we are going to move over here to the right, click on course content. We're going to go to module 4, the research paper, and if we scroll down a little bit, we've got Galileo research information right here. There's a good, actually, PDF here on creating a works cited page that has very good information in it. You may want to use that. This is how to evaluate sources to make sure they're reliable. And this is a section of Galileo called Issues and Controversies that we will look at in just a little bit. So for right now, we're going to go to the Galileo database, which is right here. So click on that. This pops up. Notice this is where we're going to be working from, right here in the middle. This section right here takes you to search results that allow you to access ebooks. Unfortunately, it's not working well right now. So we're going to come back to that later and show you how to deal with that. Right now, we want to click on Galileo, find articles, and I decided that we would pretend we were writing a research paper on GMOs. I've heard a lot about those having something to do with genetically modified foods, and I thought this would be a good thing to start to do research on. So I'm going to type that in here, GMO, click on the search icon, and this is taking us to Galileo. See, it's slow because nobody is at school or at work and everybody's on the internet, right? Okay, so I'm looking through here, and I like this section here called Start Your Research. We'll look at that in a moment. And as I look through these articles, I'm seeing a lot about China, how debates transformed China's biotechnology policies. I'm seeing plant breeding techniques and their marketability. I'm seeing beekeeping. I'm seeing cell-cultured meat. That's meat that's grown in a lab. That sounds kind of gross to me. But this isn't exactly what I was thinking about. So I am going to close this tab. I'm going to come back here to the Blackboard website for the class, and I'm going to go to Issues and Controversies. I'm going to click on Search Now because that is what I want to do. And we are loading. So I'm going to type GMO here. If you're having trouble coming up with a topic, we've got issues here by subject. So if you're interested in the law, you might want to look at capital punishment or date rape or the death penalty. So there's a whole lot of information here if you haven't had a chance to come up with a topic yet. Paying college athletes. Coronavirus. I don't know how good that information is. So let's click on it. Wow. So they've got a full thing set up already. So if you're interested in the coronavirus, let's see what kind of, wow, they've got a fair amount of information here, but let's see their bibliography. Okay. You've got a fair amount of sources there. That's pretty good. Okay. So anyway, if anyone's interested in coronavirus, but what we're doing is we're going to type in GMO again. Click on the search icon. Okay, we've got biotechnology and genetic engineering. Once again, not exactly what I wanted, but it's the only result that we've got, so I'm going to click on it. Now, what I like about Issues and Controversies is essentially you have everything you need here to get started with a research paper. So we've got the full article, you can tell because you've got the arrow here, but what makes that up is an introduction, background, supporters' arguments, opponents' arguments, a conclusion, a timeline, statistics, discussion questions, a bibliography, and further resources. So you can scroll through here and see that. We've got some pictures. We've got our introduction and background. We've got a chart. We've got more background. We've got another chart. We've got a supporter's argument. We have the opponent's argument. We have the future. We have a bibliography. These might, if this was your topic, these might come in handy. Additional sources to look at. Places that you could contact, like the FDA or Greenpeace or Monsanto. They make chemicals, and I assume that they also genetically modify things. And this is what I was looking for, keywords. And so what I see here is genetically modified food. That is more what I had in mind. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to close out of this. I'm going to go back to Galileo. Hit the Galileo tab. I'm going to paste that right there. I'm going to search for this. And this is more what I wanted to see. Okay, so right here it says start your research. So that sounds like a good place to start. We've got genetically modified foods and overview. And we've got similar stuff as we had at issues and controversy. We have an introduction. We have a glossary, history, genetically modified foods today, a bibliography, books and journal articles. We have websites and digital files, the authors, a little bit about the authors. So this is another really good place to start for your research. But we're going to go back to our results list here, and we're going to scroll down to number 18. Consumer attitudes toward genetically modified food in the United States. Are millennials different? Okay, so we're going to click, and we can tell this is a journal article. It says right here, academic journal. There's a little information here, a citation, a slight summary, and keywords and subjects. Also some graphs. This tells how often it's been cited. This is the PDF, and this is a web version. But we're just going to click on the title. Actually, I'm going to go back for 1 minute and show you, if you wanted to, this gives you some more info without having to click on the actual title. And this would save this search result to a folder for you, or you can email it to yourself, or you can print this information. If you weren't ready to actually read it, but if you were just collecting titles, you might want to make use of those. But we're going to click on the title. It's going to take us here to the page for this actual journal article. It has more in-depth information. It has subject terms, keywords, the name of the journal, the name of the authors, an abstract, which is like a longer summary, usually around 100 words or so, and graphs, and this is the HTML version of the article. Generally, what I like to do is click on the PDF. This is a PDF of the article, and from here you can download it. You can print it. I like to download things and either read them on my Kindle, or I don't have a Kindle, but on an e-reader, or print them, and that way I can write on them. Whatever works best for you. And what I did want to show you from here, if you go over here on the right hand side, there's information. You can download this to your Google Drive, you can make a folder, you can create a link, but I wanted to show you the citation page. So if you click on that, the citations will drop down. There's a bunch of different formats, APA, Harvard, but what we want is MLA, because that's what we use, and this is the only citation generator that I will use. See, we've got the author. There's 3 authors to this paper. So we list the first one, last name first, and then use the words et al. You can do that if there's 3 or more authors. We have the name of the article in quotation marks. You see it's capitalized correctly. Prepositions are in lowercase as well as articles. We have the name of the journal in italics, the volume number, the issue number, the date of publication, and the page numbers, followed by a period. We have EBSCOhost, which is the name of the database. In effect, that's the publisher. That is also in italics, followed by a comma. And the DOI number, you can see that's listed here. The DOI number is like a web address, and it never changes. So that's what a lot of journals are starting to use now. So 5 years from now, you wanted to write about this article and you remembered, or you wanted to write about this topic and you remembered that was a great article, you could go back and look at it again. It would still be right here at this DOI address. If there was no DOI, this citation generator would have just given you the web address. Okay, so that covers journals. And what we want to do next is look at ebooks. So I am going to, actually what we're going to do is open a new window. So we're going to come over here, open a new window, and I'm going to type in galileo.usg.edu. And I'm going to hit enter. It's going to take me to this screen. I'm going to put in my search term. I'm going to search for it. And I'm going to wait. Okay, so we're going to try this first title, Genetically Modified Food. It is a collection of articles on genetically modified food. So we're going to click on that. And next, we're going to click on See in Gill Find. It's over here on the left. We'll click on that. Then we want to click on Online Access right there. Okay, what this has been doing in the past is at this step, it's asking me for a password, and that would be in a box right up here. It's not doing that right now. I don't know why. I even closed everything and opened up new windows, but it's not doing that. But if it was, you would then type in lobster, like the food, L-O-B-S-T-E-R, lobster. But now we have access to this ebook. You can check it out by downloading it. That's usually good for a week. You can read it right here. You can download different chapters as a PDF. Or you can click on this to read online. You see we've got the cover, we've got the title page, copyright page, table of contents, or you can just go straight to the different chapters. So we're going to start with chapter 1. If you wanted to find out why genetically modified foods are controversial, you could read this by Eric Siegel. What I do like about ebooks is you can search them. So let's say you were wondering about people getting sick from genetically modified foods. So we would search for illness. We see we've got 2 search results returned. Chapter 13 here, this arrow tells us that there's illness in that chapter. And chapter 3 here. So we're going to click on this. It's going to show us the actual result and what page it's on. We're going to click on that. And then you can scroll down here and see there it is highlighted. And this is a little article that talks about, I don't know if it's that little, I haven't read the whole thing. But this talks about how people say nobody gets sick from eating genetically modified meals, and the author writes that, yeah, well, no one got sick from smoking a pack of cigarettes either. It was only after smoking for years that people ended up being very sick, and couldn't the same thing be true for this? So that is how to access ebooks. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me, but I hope this explains how to use Galileo. This is such a great tool for working on papers, on doing research, because you can do it from home at your own pace and, in some peace and quiet. When I was younger and everything was in books, there was always somebody that checked out all the books from the library. So these are always here, right? Because they're on the internet. Anyway, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me. And I hope that everyone's doing well, and look forward to working with you online.